The master inbox is a one-stop shop for converting leads to deals. That means taking something completely cold as a particular email address and getting them to pay you to create a deal out of that and bring in revenue for your business. It is an extremely powerful infrastructure that has a lot of automations, tools and tips, as well as techniques to help you facilitate that entire conversation from start to end. Now, if you have not seen the video about the utility of the filters and how you can use that to best leverage the power of the master inbox, go check that out. But now let's go ahead and jump into this particular example I have over here where I've created a campaign and I've got replies back, and we've had a bit of front and back like we do in the master inbox, just like any other email client, to ensure that you have taken someone from absolutely a cold conversation to paying customer. All right. So from the top right corner, we have this thing called lead category. The lead category over here was marked as interested using the AI. If you have not set up the AI on a campaign level, you can do that. The beautiful part about it is you'll have interested leads just pop up naturally on the left-hand side, making you happy, everyone else happy, because you don't need to worry about hiring an inbox manager and doing a whole bunch of stuff that you may not want to do. So win-win-win over here. So the first thing I want to do and walk you through is try to understand what all the sequences are. So in this case, I just have a one email sequence experience because that was the only one email that was sent out. And the lead replied to that particular sequence. Now, in a situation, the lead replies to the third or fourth email, then all those sequences will show up over here as well. So if I click on email one, it doesn't matter because just that one email. But in this case, we're going to do all sequences. You might want to go ahead and do this if you want to go ahead and review different copy and context that was sent and just keep a cleaner view in your situation. Now, let's just say we have gone ahead and had a front and back conversation with our particular lead, and then I have replied back to the lead saying, yep, look, I'm interested in this case, it's a guest posting experience. This is part of the outbound campaign we have for SEO. The lead of mine has not replied back to me, so I want to sort of bump the message, and you can now do that very naturally within Smartly. By just clicking on that, you can see that the entire message is actually popped in over here. And if I want to bump this, I'm simply just going to do hey mate, bumping this to grab your attention, something like that, right? Now you can also go ahead and add a signature to this particular message that is sustained across the signature for this particular user. And if you don't want to go ahead and bump this immediately, you can also go ahead and schedule it for the future. Super powerful. And you can also schedule this with respect to the time zone of your particular campaign, so it is sent in the same time experience that your lead will experience. Otherwise, it will go out in UTC time, right? And here's the other cool part. You can actually go ahead and set a condition saying that if they do not reply, then only send it. Right. So that's again a very reactive experience. In the situation, this person replies back. Let's say you set this to be a schedule by the 12th, as an example, right? And if they go ahead and reply back by the 12th of September, then this message won't go through. Obviously, very powerful and natural. In a situation, they do reply, then nothing will happen. If they do not reply, that is the only time this message will go out in the time zone of that particular lead. Cool. So you can schedule a send over here and set it up, and you're good to go. And the way ESPs work is effectively the messages are threaded. So any conversation that has repeat text is effectively threaded naturally by the ESPs itself. So this is what I would do. I'll just do that as well to make it easy. All right. And you can go ahead and CC someone else if you want to CC them, or you can BCC them as well if you'd like. So nice win there. Now, the other thing you want to do is, let's just say I've obviously stepped a few steps ahead. If a lead replies back to you over here saying, hey there, could you send me some etc etc, no issues at all. Just click reply and respond back to them like you naturally would. So you see in the previous example where you were bumping it up, there was a natural threaded experience to make it feel like it was a very natural cycle of conversation like you would in the ESPs. In this situation, this was the first reply that they gave back to me, and I'm responding back to them. So in this case, it will be a blank message. But do not worry, it's not a blank message. The thread is actually attached internally already to be sent to that particular customer. So it's a very organic and normal conversation that you would normally have had in your ESP as well. So it might look blank, but it is tracking that entire thread for you perfectly fine. So the difference is the first one, which was you bumping the message. This one, you naturally responding back to a lead who's responded back to you. So that's taken care for you over there. Now let's look at another thing called the power of subsequences. Subsequences in nature are basically campaigns that exist to react to certain behaviors of your main campaign. So let's just say I have this particular campaign over here. which is a primary campaign, I actually have an option to go ahead and push this particular lead to a subsequence. Maybe that subsequence is specifically to push them towards, if they're interested, then I want to send them a series of questions and conversations to prime them into a booked meeting. So completely automating that by simply saying push to subsequence, right? And I can select a subsequence. In this case, I haven't created one, but you can easily do that. Now, what you can also go ahead and do is you want to go ahead and maybe push them after a certain number of days. Maybe not immediately, but you want to push them after a certain number of days. Perfectly fine. You can do that right over here by setting the delay to be maybe 5 days, 6 days, or 7 days. Now, here's another cool part. You don't want them to move to the positive subsequence in a situation they respond back to the main campaign, right? They responded back saying, yes, I'm interested, right? Which is the first reply that you've sent them. You responded back to them, sounds good, thanks for showing interest, and so on and so forth. You automate it because we love automation within smart lead, and you push them into this subsequence within 5 days, right? Or whatever that subsequence you selected is, right? Now if they reply back again to the main campaign, obviously you'll look like a silly goose if you go ahead and send them another message from the subsequence saying, hey, thank you for showing interest, blah blah blah. No, by clicking this option over here, in a situation the lead replies back within those 5 days, then it is not pushed, and again lets you keep a very natural conversation happening with your lead. So that's taken care for you right then and there. So it's a happy conversation that you've got. Now let's go ahead and talk about setting up reminders for the leads. So this is where I've said where I've responded back to the lead, and I showed an example for you. If you type in a bit of text over here, you can actually go ahead and schedule a send, which is what we've spoken about over here. You can also do on top of that to sort of set your mind on top of conversations you want to have with customers, because I use this 99% of the time, because it's almost like a CRM experience. I just want to I want to be nudged again and again to follow up with the lead consistently. Is you can simply set a reminder. You can set a reminder with a note as well, which will be nicely safely delivered to your email saying that, hey, you told me to reach out to Jordan with the calendar link, for example, just like I have in the text over here, right? I can set the date in which I want to be reminded, and I can set the time. In a situation you don't want to go ahead and have the default option, just go ahead and change that to whatever, and let's just let close, and that should be good to go. It will go ahead and remind you on Saturday 9th September, 2:10 p.m., for example, right? Or if you want, you can go with the predefined options that we've got over here, whichever works for you. As you can see, all this is doing is just pretty much pre-filling that option for you. You can override that by simply selecting something else, and when you select that something else, you can see that's moved, right? So you're taken care of. So this will go ahead and send an email directly to the mailbox that is connected to SmartLead, and you can easily come back, because we'll even give you the link of this conversation, because guess what? Every single thing within the master inbox is deep linked, so you can open just this particular message and respond back to them if you want to go ahead and do that. Now, sometimes a lead has maybe responded back with an out of office and it's been categorized as an out of office, right? No worries at all. What you can go ahead and do is click on this and resume the lead. And resuming the lead works really well if you're using this for the out of office replies. You can just, maybe the person's responded back saying, I'm out of office, I'll be back in 7 days. Great. Click 7. Sorted, right? In just one click. Now, automatic follow-up message for the normal campaign that you would have sent out will go out to them after 7 days without you having to worry about a single thing. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Now, let's just say a situation where info at this person has responded back with another person saying, hey, I'm not the right person to speak to. The actual individual you want to speak to is Bob at wpextractor.com. Now, Bob is not an actual lead within Smart Lead. So how do we go ahead and create Bob as an intermittent lead? Super simple. You want to click on this and you say replace lead. So what this does is you're going to replace this person with another lead. So therefore, all conversations that are going to be had, whether maybe you're trying to restart the conversation due to an out of office, or just move this thread to someone else without using anything other than the master inbox infrastructure we created for you. Go ahead and put in Bob's first name, last name, email address, and all the variables that you want to put in, confirm and replace. So then whenever you go ahead and reply back to this particular message, now all the messages will go to Bob. So it's a very natural experience for you, so that you would do the same thing in a situation where you want to replace the two email address in your normal ESP experience. Great. Now let's talk about one more thing. In a situation, you go ahead and midway through a campaign, maybe you're sent email 1, email 2, email 3, you've come over here and you realize you've actually spoken to the lead, maybe off LinkedIn or Twitter and so on and so forth. So, and they've definitely shown interest. So whenever you go ahead and let's just, maybe just for conversation's sake, do that. Let's remove this and let's just say they have replied back with interested, right? What you can also go ahead and do is make sure that you pause the lead. In this case, the lead is resumed. So what I might actually go ahead and do is I'll just resume lead just for conversation's sake over here. I'll put that to 10. just a moment, right? And I'm going to remove this. Now you see that this has gone into a pause element, which means that the lead is currently in an active state with a future message to be sent out. Now, going back to the previous example, I've spoken to them on Twitter and they've come back to me. I'm going to click on positive. What we're actually going to do is say, do you want to pause the lead? Because you've marked them as interested, which might mean that you don't want to go ahead and send them further messages because they responded back to you because it's awkward, right? Because you spoke to them on Twitter. Yes, definitely you want to go ahead and pause the lead. And that will give a very natural experience. Again, I know I use the word natural a lot, but that's the true value you get with this master inbox. It does so many normal things, and there's pure beauty in the normalcy of things that you want to do because it handles a million iterative combinations of all situations you might face within a normal experience. Maybe you want to view the lead details. You want to see the step of the lead. You can just click on that and see that. You can see the overview. You can see the sender account that was used as well. So that's also there for you. Now, I want to speak about one last thing, which is, let's just say you've seen the messages at out of office message. You want to go ahead and click on out of office. And with that, what it does is it offers you two things. It says, all right, we can ignore this reply, no issues, which means, again, your marketing analytics are not skewed and they're accurate and they ensure that you've got the right amount of information and positive feedback to ensure that you're actually sending messages that will optimally convert. So I can go ahead and ignore this reply and you're taken care of. Now, again, they're out of office, right? What do? We can easily go ahead and resume the lead after a set number of days, which is messaged or mentioned in the reply that they're giving us saying, I'll be back in office after 12 days or 2 days, etc. So the entire sequence of conversations from start to end that you may want to have naturally with a particular lead, handling all sorts of permutative combinations of scenarios, are handled over here. Of course, if there's more things that you want us to bring into the master inbox, it's an ever-growing feature experience. Please reach out to us in the bottom right corner, submit a feature request, and you will be definitely noted for us to go ahead and add that and release it to you as soon as possible. So if you've enjoyed this video, thank you so much for listening so far. There's tons of other videos on the onboarding experience of smart leaders to how you can use our experience to make powerful conversations with customers that will convert them from interested, from completely cold, interested, and high converted and high paying customers. So thank you. Have a good day, and I'll speak to you soon.